What up YouTube, and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple social media post using the gradient map tool. It's going to look just like this. It's pretty basic, but it's trendy and people will like it. It's a good thing to use is this gradient map tool because there's a ton of uses. It's really helpful and it's something I use all the time. So today for our encouragement, I was just thinking about friendship and how friendship can be really tricky depending on what age you're at and what life looks like. Even with social media and the digital world we live in, a lot of times friendship can feel surface level and disgenuine. So I just want to say, for any of you who are struggling to feel like you have deep friendships, keep putting yourself out there, keep trying, keep looking to make new friends. Like, you're made for deep friendship, like real close, tight-knit friends, no matter who you are. And so just want to encourage anybody who maybe feels discouraged in that area, that you're made for it and keep going for it. It's worth it. So all right, well, without further ado, we're going to jump into today's video. All right, so here is our file. Remember, you can download it from the description if you want to follow along. And so I've already got us started off by creating these two circles, which are going to kind of be the basis for our design. And if you see over here hidden, we've got our color palette, which we'll be using, which I also have up here. And then we have two pictures, which I'm going to want to incorporate as well. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to use something called the quick mask, which is really helpful. So if two layers are on top of each other, next to each other, then you can just hold Option/Alt and then click, and it'll actually put this layer and mask it into what's underneath. This is really helpful because it makes your masks a lot more flexible if you want to move it around. So for example, if I take the circle and I move it, it'll move that mask really, really easily. Or if I make it bigger or smaller. So really helpful tool. So we'll do that. And then we also want to isolate this hand. So I'm going to make it a smart object. My shortcut for that is Command T, but you could also do right click, convert to smart object. We'll click into it and then click the W key, which will open up your wand or selection tool. Click select subject, which this is a great feature and it usually works pretty well. Looks good to me. I'm going to click my mask button down here to mask the layer and save it and then close that. So there we go. Now it's super easily masked out, pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a mask for this. And so I'll put this in a group with Command G. And I'm going to turn off that red because that's just for the palette. So group it together with Command G. And then I'm going to select this circle, which I'm going to use Command and click. We'll select the pixels that are in that area. And then I also want to add on a little bit because I want to have this hand breaking out of this circle. So if I click my L tool, which is my lasso, and I hold shift, this means I'm going to add to my selection. I'm just going to add, this doesn't look pretty, but it doesn't really need to. Let go, and now my selection has been expanded. That looks great, so I'll take my group and I'll add a mask to the group. And now if I reposition the hand, here I'll scale it down a little bit. Look at that. So now, because the mask, if I click Alt on this, you can see what shape the mask is. So because the mask is the same shape at the bottom as the circle, it's going to mask it out of the circle, but it's open at the top, so the hand can look like it's coming from within the circle outside, which is pretty cool. So for the most part, we've set up our design now. Actually, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to take the gradient map, and that's really the point of this video, is learning how to use it. So right down here at our adjustments layer, you're going to click this and click gradient map. So right now you see it did something kind of weird. I'm not worried about having typically when you create a gradient mask or a gradient map or a lot of effects, they will also add this mask. I'm not worried about that, so I can just delete it. And then I'm going to do that same quick masking holding Option, and then it goes right into there. So what's happening is a gradient map, which this is really a cool feature. So a gradient map, basically imagine this left side as your darkest color and this right side as your lightest color. So it basically remaps whatever's underneath it with these different colors. So I could say, okay, I want my darkest color to be this, and then I want my lightest color to be this. And obviously that gets some pretty weird looking stuff. You want to play around with the colors themselves, but we're going to use the colors that are in our color palette. So I'm going to take this, actually for this one, I'm just going to do black and then like a cream probably for the hand. Maybe I'll do this lightest one, maybe a little brighter, kind of play around. Something like that. Okay, So great, now what it's done is it's basically taken the colors of our hand and it's applied this gradient map to it, which is adjusting our colors. So I'm gonna alt drag that gradient map because I wanna use another one on the trees, so right above the trees, and then doing that option for the quick mask, we'll do the same thing. So now it's applied the same gradient map underneath, but this isn't very interesting visually. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna adjust the gradient map by clicking on it and clicking up here. For the lowest color, I'm gonna make it this red, which I really like. And then for the highest color, I'm going to see between one of these guys. Probably go this medium one right here. Right now it doesn't look like there's enough contrast, so what I'll do for the hand is if I right click in this empty, or if I double click in this empty space, and then I can add a drop shadow. That's way too much right now, so I'm going to drop my opacity. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it's a bit more subtle. And I think for this gradient map, I'm actually going to make it to where it's not have any color at all. It's just straight black and white. Maybe just a little bit of color. Great. It was a little too orange for me. So, okay, now we have something interesting and looking pretty good here. But yeah, so now you've learned how to use the gradient map tool. I'd say experiment with lots of different color combinations. There's a lot of great and maybe not so great ones you can do, but it'll help you take a plain photo and maybe do something interesting with it, especially if you're using it for a background within a graphic. So that is creating a gradient map social post. I'd love it if you'd like this video and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's more things that you want to learn in Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, or InDesign, and I would love to make a video for you. Thanks so much and have a great day.